And welcome back to CentralCoastRadio.com. Well, there are two huge films in cinemas right now. They opened on the same day. People have been referring to it as the War of Barbenheimer. That's what people have been calling it at the moment. But of course, one was Oppenheimer and the other, of course, is Barbie, which I think here in Australia we've seen a lot of a long time before the film came out because Margot Robbie is playing the main Barbie in this film. Now, it's directed by Greta Gerwig, and the film is kind of told in three different parts. First of all, we see Barbie and Ken, played by Ryan Gosling, in Barbie Land. Barbie wakes up every day. She has fun with the other Barbies. Ken has fun with the other Kens, but at the same time, he quite often feels like he's being ignored by Barbie, even though he really loves her. And then all of a sudden, Barbie starts losing her special abilities. And when she goes to see someone that they refer to as the Strange Barbie, played by Kate McKinnon, she tells her that's because the girl who's playing with her in the real world is going through some issues. So Barbie and Ken decide to head to the real world and to try and help the person that is playing with Barbie. But that result is kind of catastrophic because it causes absolute mayhem at Mattel, especially for the chairperson played by Will Ferrell, and there are lessons for all to be learnt. Now, I got some pretty strong opinions on Barbie, so Lee, we might start with you. What did you think of Barbie?
So I love the opening scene, just with a bit of an explanation about how Barbie dolls came to be, and kind of replaced another type of doll, I guess, or were it
The baby dolls, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't giving things away, but that's okay. Spoiler. I really quite liked how that came about. I liked Barbie Land. I loved how the scenes were shot. I loved how it was set up. I like how you had Barbie's dream house and the Barbies in their dresses or costumes. I was looking at some of the Barbies and I'm like, I had that Barbie when I was young, with that exact costume. I think they did that really well. There's the Barbie car and all sorts of things. So I guess because I'm late 40s, I totally grew up with Barbies and certainly had a lot of those dolls and a lot of those clothes and accessories and all those things. So I thought they did a really brilliant job of bringing that world to life, and I really loved how the set was designed and how it was all done. I thought Margot Robbie was the perfect choice for the main Barbie. And I loved her costumes at the start. I love how it portrayed a world where it's perfect. There was no real issues or it was a happy place to be. And I guess as a child, when you were playing with those Barbie dolls, that's what you were kind of thinking about, a perfect world. You weren't thinking about any major issues in the world or the real world as it is. I certainly enjoyed the scenes also where they came into the real world, and some of the challenges. But I think I liked it because I actually liked the characters, or the mother and daughter that was brought into the story. So we had America Ferrera, who played Gloria.
Yep.
And we had Ariana Greenblatt, who played Sasha. And I quite enjoyed the dynamic that they brought, and the changes that happen with them throughout the movie as well. There's, some big names in this movie as well. You've got the narrator of Helen Mirren. Now, I knew straight away that was her voice. I'm like, oh, I'm sure that's her. And that just brings something to the story. You've got people like Will Ferrell involved in, I guess, the board or the running of the business Mattel. So, yeah. And then you've got people like Michael Cera that pop up. And, of course, you've got the lead actors as well. I really like the character of Kate McKinnon as a Barbie. And I have to say, when does she not bring a smile to your face when she's in a movie? She is awesome. What a beautiful actress she is.
Even the Ghostbusters reboot that so many people hated, I loved because of her.
I loved her character in that. So I think she brings something special to this movie and most movies that she's in. So I guess where I started to struggle a little bit was when all the characters returned to Barbie Land, and the character of Ken, the main Ken, because there's many Kens.
The Gosling Ken.
The Gosling Ken. Started to turn Barbie Land into Men's World. Now, or Ken World, we should say.
Yeah.
And it became like...
Wasn't it Kingdom, he was calling it?
Instead of Kingdom, it was Kingdom.
Yeah.
I think part of the story... Like, I loved... There was different storylines throughout this movie. And I think learning who you are, being who you're meant to be, relationships between family, all those things... were really great storylines. I think the bit that I struggled most with was when it became kind of women against men, men against women, and almost that men and women couldn't coexist or live as couples, or I guess, you know, there's a lot of, in our world now, you know, there's different dynamics and different family setups and all those sorts of things, and that's okay. But in this movie, it was more like men and women were separate. It was either girls' world or boys' world, rather than doing a lot together. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a resolution at any time or in this movie, and that's for you to watch and find out. Because I think it ended up ending okay. You have to, you know, follow the storyline closely to see how that ends. But yeah, I think I just struggled with that because, you know, we live in a world of different people, different individuals, and it shouldn't matter if you're male or female or a gender, you know, a different gender. We can all get along. We can all work together. We can all respect each other and understand each other. And so, yeah, I just struggle with that storyline a little bit. But overall, I have to say I really enjoyed the movie because there were different storylines within it. And yeah, I think there was some comedy in there. I mean, right at the very end of the movie, pretty much the very last line of the movie made me giggle because I won't tell you what it is, but I just thought that Barbie was very excited about an appointment that most people would never be excited about, and it just made me giggle. I thought the performance of Margot was brilliant, and pretty much all of the performances were really good. So I think it got a little bit cheesy when it became Kingdom. What was it?
Yeah, Kingdom. Yeah.
Kingdom. And so, sorry, I guess I didn't enjoy that little bit as much. But overall, I actually did enjoy the movie, and I think that, you know, we would like to live in a perfect world. It highlighted the issues and challenges within our world, but it also showed that some some things can be overcome, I guess.
Yeah, I'm glad you said some of that, because it's the same way that I feel, and I know that there's been a lot. I have to be careful what I say here, because I know there's been a lot over the last week where male critics have reviewed this film, and if they've criticized it, they've then copped online the whole, oh, well, you're just a man, so you didn't understand the film kind of thing. But to me, I didn't mind that Greta Gerwig, the director, screenwriter, who co-wrote it with Noah Baumbach, was making a political point. She makes some great political points in this film. And I've been a big fan of her work over the years. I've loved Lady Bird. I've loved Little Women. I love most of the movies that she's acted in. My issue with this film, I think, mostly is that I know that Greta Gerwig could have done better. There were some incredibly cheesy moments in this film, especially around the Will Ferrell's character, where I absolutely groaned. I
thought that was funny, actually.
People that know me will know that I hate that Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler style of comedy. And to me, this movie went into that ballpark quite often. But I think the bit that shocked me the most was, like you said, it did become that male versus female, male and females can't coexist kind of thing. Whereas,
for a while,
yeah. Even the ending, I thought, without saying too much, I thought that was the main point as well. Whereas I would rather have seen this become a movie where both Barbie and Ken grew. Whereas I felt that this became one of those movies where all the women were powerful and great and all the men were just dumb, like those shopping...
But then it did switch to all the men were powerful.
Yeah, but they were still dumb. They were completely ridiculous, and there wasn't a redeeming feature among any of them, or a brain cell.
Oh, okay.
Where, like, it comes across to me like they do when they do those supermarket films, and it's like they make the dad so dumb it's a wonder he hasn't let his kid wander into traffic. Like, there needs to be a balance. Like, there's no balance in this film at all, and I think it's great that this film has the moral in it that anyone can do what they want. Like, you can become a president, you can become a scientist or a doctor, it doesn't matter your sex. But my issue with the film was that it didn't feel like it was saying that. It felt like it was saying that women can become all of those things, but men are completely dumb and stupid and pointless. Like, there was no balance. To me, the only likable male character in this was Alan, Michael Cera's character. I liked him because he had redeemable features, but all the rest of the Kens, even the Ryan Gosling Ken, it didn't feel like there was any redeeming qualities to that character at all. Which is a shame, because there are so many people in this film that I like, and like I said at the start, I think Greta Gerwig is above this film. I don't think this is her best work. I think she could have done something absolutely magical with this film, but it just went for that cheesiness kind of thing. Like, it just... I don't know how to put it into words. Like, I've been really putting off reviewing the film just because of, like, how I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to say it kind of thing. I mean, Margot Robbie is brilliant in this film as Barbie. There are so many brilliant performances. I loved Kate McKinnon in this film as well, but there was just too many characters in it that I didn't care about. And yeah, like I said, I just got a little bit tired of the fact that I just hated all the male characters. Like, I don't know, maybe that's what Greta Gerwig wanted us to do, but I thought there needed to be a balance, and perhaps the moral of it should have been that we can all coexist together kind of thing. Because I'm trying not to go into a spoiler territory here, but I actually thought it was kind of sad the way that this film ends for Ryan Gosling's Ken. Like, yeah, for people that, like, follow us on social media, I made a joke about what I reckon happened to this Ken 6 weeks after the movie ended. Like, but yeah, I don't know. I just felt like there needed to be more of a resolution there, as well, because for that most part, like, apart from the fact of when he becomes an egotistical maniac, for the most part, his only crime is he's completely in love with Barbie. So yeah, I don't know. I just didn't get into this film and love it as much as what other people have, and it's Probably not for the reasons that people out there are thinking that I didn't like it, but yeah, hopefully what I've said makes sense. So, but I guess to sum up, what are you going to give this one out of 5?
I'm going to give it, it's a hard choice to make actually, because there was a lot I really, really liked about this movie. And I guess even, I think the difference of what Barbie was meant to do, because there has been over the years some criticism of how Barbie looks, perfect, and women should have to look like Barbie, and that it set women up to feel bad about their body types and all these sort of things. But within this movie, it also showed that Barbie was meant to show girls that they could be anything that they want to be, and they were right. There are so many different professions that Barbie undertakes over the years in different doll forms, and it does kind of show that you can be anything you want to be. And I think times have changed from when I was young to now. Women certainly can do a lot more, or have more opportunities than previously. And so I suppose the Barbie character has probably transformed over the years too, to keep up with our current culture and what we can do. So I actually liked how that came into the story as well. And so, as I said, there's so much I loved about this movie. I had a lot of fun with this movie. As I said, I thought Margot was the perfect choice, and the other cast members were brilliant. So I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. The point that is being lost here for me is that male versus female world, or female versus male world. That just I felt uncomfortable while I was watching it. And so, but the rest of the movie I loved. It was a section in the movie that I felt uncomfortable, not the whole movie. So, but I really had a lot of fun with this movie. So that is why I'm giving it that score.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 2 out of 5. I really felt that there could have been more to this film. I think that when you've got such a talented director like Greta Gerwig in charge of a project, and you've got the likes of Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, this movie should have been so much more. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 5. Barbie is a general release, so check your local cinema guide to see where it's showing near you, and you're on centralcoastradio.com.